This time we'll call the meeting to order for today, December 6, 2022. At this time, we'd ask Ms. Cindy to give roll call.
Ms. Richards? Present. Mr. Toller?
Here.
Ms. Abrams?
Here.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Present.
Mr. Duncan?
Here.
Mr. Bush?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Ms. Simmons?
Here.
Ms. Dominguez?
Present.
Okay, we'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have Ms. Sandra Bailey Simmons going to take care of this part of the meeting.
We're excited tonight to have all of our guests from the schools. Lance Frazier, a fourth grader at D.C. Reeves, is going to lead us in the pledge, and then Ponchatoula High School Choir will do the national anthem under the leadership of Stephanie Robinson. And then when we have our James Square presentation, D.C. Reeves will perform after that, or during that. Okay. Stand.
Please stand, put your right hand over your heart, and salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Can we just adjourn now?
Y'all did it.
That was the best.
Miss Simmons.
They gonna sing next? Who is it? Miss Simmons? Bring the rest of them down to go ahead and sing. You want to do that now?
Yeah. Well, we're going to do James Square next, right?
But they're going to sing again.
Recipients.
They want to come first? All right. Just tell them.
They're going to sing from back there.
Glenn, yes.
They're going to sing from back there.
They gonna sing from back there? Okay. Who's
We now have a presentation by Ponchatoula High School Choir for Christmas under Stephanie Robinson, and they'll sing next.
Come on down.
Since they're leaving.
Train.
They were fantastic, and I was like, that's the future of my program right there. I'm so excited. Excellent.
Ding dong ding dong, that is your song. Reach up a rainbow.
Thank you. Very, very good. You can sing the Star Spangled Banner good, I bet you. Y'all do good.
That was excellent.
How do you like that girl? Sing the Star Spangled Banner? She could tell. I know it.
So, Lynn?
You following? You next year?
Oh, no. Hey, look, I'm not following that.
We'll move on to item D, consider approval of the board minutes of November 15, 2022. Do I hear a motion to adopt?
So move.
Motion by Mr. Tom. Second by Ms. Janice. Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Move on to awards and recognitions. We'd like to recognize the recipient of the Enos Jake Bailey Jr. Above and Beyond Award, Ms. Simmons.
I'd like to call up Mr. James Square and Ms. Whittington, please. The principal of DC Readers. Where is he? All right. Okay, I know. Well, tonight we're very honored to honor this gentleman, Mr. James Square, with the Jake Bailey Above and Beyond Award. And it goes a little deeper than just tonight because he knew him in that day, Mr. Jake Bailey, when he was on the board, right? And has some kind things to say about him. But I've heard so much about this gentleman and seen so much of what he does that I just think he's one of the most worthy recipients of this award that we could have. And we're going to present a certificate of recognition to James Square, teacher at DC Reeves Elementary, in recognition of being the recipient of the Enos F. Jake Bailey Jr. and Above and Beyond Award. Miss Cindy, you go take pictures.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then I have some other things to say. I have this special card made out to you that says, Dear Mr. Square, it's an honor to present you with the Enos F. Jake Bailey Above and Beyond Award. You're truly a very worthy recipient. You have given countless hours of your time to developing musical abilities in our students in the school system. You have inspired them for years in more than one school and in other venues. Thank you for giving them your all for so many years. You are an inspiration to us all as you use your God-given talents to inspire others. God bless you and your family, Sandra Bailey Simmons School System, and a gift certificate to Cracker Barrel. And a few other things I want to say. And along with these words, as I was leaving the house today, I had to go back in and get my Bible because the Lord reminded me of something, of a scripture that represents this gentleman. And it's in 2 Timothy 2:15 that says, Be diligent to present yourself approved to God, a worker who does not need to be ashamed. And you are that worker, and you are that diligent worker. And our kids are blessed in this system because of what you have put into them. And then Mr. Danny Williams, who is present tonight, who knows you well, he wrote this and sent it to me, and I asked him to read it, but he was a little shy. So, of course, it's Dr. Williams, but I'm going to read it. James Square has been a band director for over 30 years in Louisiana and Texas, including at one point being the director of the University of Louisiana at Lafayette's marching band. We are fortunate that Mr. Square has come back home to Tpss Parish to share his expertise and love for music with the students of our parish. Mr. Square knows firsthand the transformative power of music, and he wants every child to have that opportunity. And since returning to Tpss Parish, he's been the director of bands at Kentwood High, Ponchatoula High, and Ponchatoula Junior High. And was my grandson at the junior high with you? He is now working as a music resource teacher while helping to establish an elementary music program at D.C. Reeves Elementary School. His goal and passion is to ensure that every child in Tpss Parish has the opportunity to be in a music class. And we all know the benefit of having our arts in our schools. And you saw that tonight with that great presentation. He also has a passion for students with different abilities. He has supported his autistic son, Joseph, as he pursues the dream of being a performer. Joseph regularly performed with the Ponchatoula High Band, and he continues to have 2 to 3 shows a year with his proud papa there for help. And he's going to perform this year, right? Coming up. The love for his son and the transformative power of music drives this passion, this mission. Joseph recently completed a performance program at ULL, his dad's and his sister's alma mater. In his spare time, he enjoys spending time on a tractor. I think I've passed by there and seen you on that tractor with your dad on the family property in Hammond near Airport Road, right? He is also on the board of the Twin Steeples Creative Arts Center and the Louisiana Music Educators Association. Danny, you did a great job putting this together because this really describes you. Now I'd like for Miss Whittington to come up and say a few words.
Good evening. Delayed but not denied. I remember Mr. Square came to me when I was first appointed as the instructional leader of the D.C. Reeves Elementary School, and he was asking about music. And I said, I would love to have music, but I really don't know how to get a music teacher, but I would love to have music. And I kept on bugging Mr. Jinko. Every time we had a meeting, I would ask for a music teacher. Can I get a music teacher? 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 And I continued to ask. And Dr. Fusel sent me an email that said, do you? Yep. I could not finish the email. Yes, we would like to have a music teacher. And I am a math person, so I believe in research, proven research. And it says, music directly benefits the ability to learn words, speak them correctly, and process the many new sounds they hear from others. And those of us who are educators know that the standards that we teach, that's cross-curriculum in every way. So music is just not a pull-out kids for my scholars. Music is a class where it is impacting student achievement across the board. So to Ms. Stilley for approving it, to Mr. Jinko for always listening to me whining about a music teacher, and to Dr. Fusel for sending that email, and to Dr. Williams for getting a plan. How do we best utilize Mr. Square? And as I met with Mr. Square, anyone that knows me knows that my babies are the most important thing to me as the instructional leader. If you want to get on my bad side, mistreat my babies. And so when he came in, we talked, and I said, well, Mr. Square, you know my SPED students will have to be in the music class. We include them in all of our classes. That's important to me, because when I say all, I mean all. 651 of them. And so he was like, I'm so glad you said that, Ms. Whittington, because I didn't want to exclude them. And after he said that, we were on the same page. So I am blessed that Mr. Square is now a music teacher at the D.C. Reeves Elementary School. It allows us to continue with our common planning, where we're not shifting students, and all of our students are able to enjoy music weekly with Mr. Square. So I am just thankful that we are blessed with Mr. Square to be at the D.C. Reeves Elementary School, and we have a few of our faculty members that came out to support Mr. Square. So if you could just stand, you know it's been a long day, but they are here supporting. So thank you so much who played a part in us having Mr. Square, and we love Mr. Square at the D.C. Reeves Elementary School.
Danny, Dr. Williams has known me since the first day of third grade, and I think this is the most decomposed, uncomposed that he has ever seen me. I'm going to find some quick words. I want to just tell you just what this means to me, and not just what it means to me, what it means to my family, what it means to all of us as the Tangipahoa Parish family. Music is so important to me, always has been. Some of the trouble that I would get into as a kid, I would be out in the shed playing our dad's records on the record player, listening to Tchaikovsky, Beethoven, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Then we'd go to church. Daddy was always overseas. He was in the Air Force. Mama always made sure we went to Sunday school and sang in the church choir. And when they said that verse, 2 Timothy 2:15, I just felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Because I used to be ashamed that I could not play basketball. I had no idea how to throw a spiral. I was always the shortest kid in class. Even the music teacher, Miss Barsnick, when I told her I wanted to play the tuba, she said, stand against the wall. And she took a pencil, drew a line, and she said, just like in the circus, you have to be this tall to play the tuba. And it took me about 3.5 years, even on my tiptoes, and I wore a pair of those elevator shoes that we were wearing back there, and I was still about a ½ inch too short, but she knew that it was something that I wanted to do. And playing that tuba has taken me so many places in this life, in this world, away from Tangipahoa Parish and back to it. You always come back to your roots somehow. My roots are in music. When I got here, and this works right, because I did this to a lot of principals. I walked in their offices and said, what can we do to put a music program in place at your school? And I know that first meeting that we had, she was like, who is this man? He is insane about music. Well, I understand the power of it, and I'm so glad that every time I've had a chance to come here, I've been allowed a little time to talk about it. We have something called SEL in all of our schools now, social emotional learning. Okay, so we've been doing that in music for many, many years. And I never come empty-handed. This is something that a kid made for me 20 years ago when I taught at Scott Middle School, just outside of Lafayette. They all talk like that, the Boudin capital of the world. This was a very awkward child. She played bassoon. Danny, you played bassoon, so you know how difficult that is just to put it together. Myra struggled with everything at school. She struggled with belonging, but band was her place to belong. And when I decided I needed to get closer to my own kids in Oklahoma and in Texas, they all gifted me, and this is one of the gifts that they gave me. Myra made this for me. She's a graphic artist now. That is her profession. And it says, music is the heart of education. Thank you, Mr. Square. And I've had this with me for 20 years. So, Miss Whittington, just today, and we do something called Squilt. I don't know if the kids have told you, it's super quiet, uninterrupted listening. You need to try it sometimes. And here are the 3 things that you do in Squilt. You need to listen to the music. You need to be totally involved in the music. Let it speak to you. And then you need to open your emotions and let that music fill. You need to feel something from the music. Not everyone feels the same thing, but it'll find your soul. The other thing we need to do is close our eyes and imagine to the music, because it will open the keys to our creativity. Now that's SEL. That is social emotional learning. And today, Miss Whittington, in my pocket here, this is what a kid handed me after our Squilt exercise. We need to recommend her to do some gifted art. We need to have her screen. This is, and I'm going to hold it up for everyone here. She's quilting, and she drew a portrait of me. So that's the creative power that all of the arts can have in our kids. For me, it just happens to be music. And you talk about studying to prove myself. Tuba players just usually play boom, 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 boom. And my mom got tired of hearing that at home. But when our directors, Mr. Babin fixed a lot of my horns that, I had a little accident with here and there. Mr. Gregg, my director, Jude Wilson always played my accompaniments when we went to Solo Festival. Dr. McCormick from Southeastern gave me private lessons on tuba because he saw something there that could be special. And that tuba, as a soloist, has taken me from the back of the classroom to the front of the classroom to be the conductor, but not just to be the conductor, to be the ambassador of one of the most positive forces on our planet, the universal language of music. And I'm sure that my time is done. Thank you so much. Randy, you've got to, is he still here somewhere? Okay, because I don't come empty-handed. It's not a big pamphlet this time, The Value of Music Education. It's a quick read. And I will make all those others available because we need to know from the top down, Miss Philly, and I know you know, and everyone here, what music can do for our students. And thank you for your time.
I want you to do one thing, sir.
Yes, sir.
Tell us where you live, because I'm kind of confused about what that notice is.
Okay, where I live, okay, where I live, we call it Hamatula. That's what my mom calls our farm. Back before, and here's how far back it was, before the interstate came through, and people are like, what? We live right there on Airport Road. It used to be just Route 2, Box 153K Hammond, no street name. And when the school board drew their lines, it came through our property, right down through it. So if we were in the bedroom section of the house, we would have been in the Hammond district. Where all the business happened in the kitchen and the bathrooms and everything else, and the rest of the farm, that was on the Ponchatoula side. There was no direct exit 42 to get there. You either had to go into Hammond, take Range Road and around, or come down 22 and Sisters Road to get in. So Mama just nicknamed the place Hamatula. So that's where I'm from. I'm a Hamatula native. Thank y'all. Family members, well, of course, that'd be everyone from D.C. Reeves and everywhere else. But this is my son, Joseph, and the D.C. Reeves family. My other family, my dad, God bless him, he's 91. We just took the keys from him. So my daughter, who was just learning to really drive, has taken him to a concert at Southeastern to hear my sister and nephew play in the community band. So we're going to boogie down there. That's just how important music is in our family, because we don't do other things. We just don't know how. Thank y'all very much.
Did you get one with the award on it? The green? Yeah, just hold that.
Going back from Texas? Good to see them early in the morning. I never see mine because they're here in school every day and they go to daycare, and
Doing something else.
they're busy or got their routine. You got to get this up or get that homework, get back. Got to get to bed by a certain time. You can't even hardly go get a visit.
What is this? These were sitting there when we were
The clicker is up there. Okay.
This time, we'll go ahead and move to 3 academic update. At this time, update on the IB program by Miss Dr. Fussell.
Mr. Westmoreland Board, I'm turning it over to the experts. This is an IB update, so I'd like to introduce our IB principals who are here tonight, and then they're going to introduce the IB specialists. I have been threatened within an inch of my life to let you all know Dr. Groh is only absent because she's at NISL. She is in our NISL cohort this year. So we have Mr. Michael Cowles, our principal of Hammond High Magnet, and Ms. Deshae Johnson, our principal of Hammond Eastside Lower, who will come up and get us started. And I'm going to hand this to your specialist because they're going to do the presentation right.
All right, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Again, I'm Mr. Kyles, this is Ms. Johnson. We're going to come today, the specialists will come today to just kind of give you some information regarding the IB program at the 3 campuses. And at the end, we'll also have a question and answer period, a brief question and answer period. So we're going to go ahead and introduce the specialists.
We're going to start with Kathy Johnson. She is the PYP coordinator at Hammond Eastside Lower.
And after Ms. Kathy Johnson, it'll be Ms. Stephanie Cerisi. She's the MYP specialist at Hammond Eastside Upper. And then closing us out will be Ms. Deirdre Haas. Well, she's the IB specialist at Hammond High Magnet School.
So I was told to speak in the microphone, so I'm going to try my very best, but I happen to have a very loud voice as it is, so there's that. Okay, so when we came, we discussed, what were we really going to share, because IB is not just in one quick, presentation. So we decided to share what is an IB education. So that's really what we're going to focus on tonight. What is an International Baccalaureate education? Okay, so to start, we're going to talk about the International Baccalaureate philosophy. And the International Baccalaureate philosophy aims to develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people who create a better, more peaceful world through intercultural understanding and respect. And that sounds like a whole lot, especially when you think about our International Baccalaureate schools in Tangipahoa Parish that we start at pre-K at Hammond Eastside all the way up to 12th grade. So the best way to say that a school can do that is through the IB learner profile attributes. The learner profile attributes is like a character building in itself. It's embedded within everything that we do all throughout our day. The learner profile attributes are caring, knowledgeable, balanced, reflective, open-minded, risk-taker, thinker, communicator, principled, and inquirer. Even our pre-K babies can give you a lot of those and tell you what they mean, so that's pretty exciting. Okay, so within IB, on top of the learner profile attributes that we start teaching at the very early age, we really try to make and plan all of our learning engagements to be inquiry-based. Inquiry-based means that we start with a question. And our teachers, throughout the years that we've been International Baccalaureate, have really become quite crafty at getting children, even our pre-K, children to ask questions about what we are teaching, and then those questions guide our instruction. So it's really powerful for a child in, 3rd grade to ask a question, and then the teacher focus her lesson within the next several days on that child question. You know, if I'm a second grader, it may not be my question, but if it's my friend's question, I'm super excited to learn the answer to that question as opposed to the teacher telling me what I'm learning that day. So that's one of the very important pieces of IB, and that goes up to 12th grade. Deirdre Haas will get to that point. I just am super passionate about IB, so I just feel like I can talk forever. So I'm going to try to hurry up. Okay, so within IB also encourages teacher and student agency. Teacher and student agency, just that word agency means voice, choice, and ownership. So we encourage our teachers to have voice, choice, and ownership within their classrooms, and we really encourage students to have voice, choice, and ownership in the classroom as well. When you have those two things combined, teacher and student agency combined, really something special happens. You know, everybody feels like they have a part in what's happening in the classroom. It's not just teacher-driven or student-driven, it's both. And so when both parties in the classroom have a say, a voice, choice, and ownership, more learning takes place. Children are excited to be there, they're engaged, and ready to investigate and explore and develop new learning because it's what they want to learn. You know, those questions that we talked about, the inquiry piece. International Baccalaureate, an International Baccalaureate education, the IB, is not a specific curriculum. It is how we teach the curriculum. So one of the things that IB has is the approaches to teaching. So that's what our teachers use when they plan their learning engagements and how to get those children to ask those really great questions. So I'm just going on in my notes. So the approaches to teaching are where teachers plan lessons that are inquiry-based. They focus on conceptual understanding. They're developed on local and global context, focused on effective teamwork and collaboration, and designed to remove barriers to learning. And they are driven by informed assessment. So again, this is not just a curriculum, it is the way, it's not a curriculum, it's the way that we use the curriculum. Another piece to the IB is the approaches to learning. And this is where the teachers really work on teaching skills that any learner uses to learn something new. That's the approaches to learning. Everyone in here uses these every day. Your approaches to learning are research skills, thinking skills, social skills, communication skills, and reflecting. I knew there was one I was missing. Self-management. That's the one we missed, not reflecting, self-management skills. Those are all things that we use as adults every day. And so we start teaching those children, you know, specifically when you're trying to answer a question, what specific skills do you use? When you're speaking to a friend, you know, another student, you know, trying to solve a problem, you're working on communication skills and social skills and self-management skills. So we teach all those to our children and really specifically use those words so as they get older, they know how to tackle a problem or how to solve a problem or how to work with someone or how to learn a new skill or research something that they're interested in. So one of the major pieces of the International Baccalaureate is how do they keep integrity of their program? This is one that I learned about, probably 5 or 6 years ago that I thought was very interesting. IB has, I'm skipping a step, let me go back. So IB requires that we give teachers professional development that is approved by International Baccalaureate. We do that in 2 ways. We invite IB trained presenters to come to our schools and give professional development, and then we also send teachers out of state to certain locations to get various this is the piece I was talking about on one of the major ways that IB holds their integrity of their program is the self-study. Every 5 years, they require their authorized schools to do, there's several parts to it, but there's two main parts where they have a self-study questionnaire where teachers, parents, students, administrators, all stakeholders in the community of the school have to rate the school on the 100 practices that IB has. And then we come up with an action plan as a school on how we're going to improve those practices. And then on top of that, IB comes out for an evaluation visit. And within that visit, they visit classrooms, they interview teachers, just to see what we put in the paper that we sent to them, are we really truly doing those things? So those two things combined really do a great job of holding the integrity of the IB program. That way they don't want their name on something that is not following their vision, their practices, their philosophy. Within International Baccalaureate, there are 4 programs that we have here in Tangipahoa Parish. At Hammond Eastside Lower, we have the primary years program, and those of you that have maybe heard of IB and Hammond Eastside, you usually hear that it's just PYP. That means primary years program, that's pre-K to 5. All children within the building of Hammond Eastside Lower is considered an IB student. All children within our school follow the learner profile. We really spend a lot of time teaching those children those things that I spoke earlier about. At Hammond Eastside, we follow the Louisiana State Standards and the Tangipahoa Parish School curriculum. So as I said, IB is not a curriculum, it's the way that we present the curriculum. IB requires that all IB schools have a second language, and at Hammond Eastside, we offer Spanish. We start that at pre-K all the way up to 5th grade. They all receive Spanish as well. One of the things that sets us apart on top of all the others, but at the primary years, we do student-led conference night twice a year. That brings in that agency part where children come and invite their parents in, and they have a conference where we tell the children it's their meeting. They're running the meeting, so they talk to their parents. We give them a little agenda about, their learning. What is their progress? Where are they? And they set goals with their parents for the next, couple of 6 weeks or the rest of the year, depending on the time of the year that it is. And then in 5th grade, we kind of have like a culminating exit thing that they do to exit the PYP, and that's called the 5th grade exhibition. That's where our 5th graders think of a local problem or issue that they want to try to investigate, learn more about, or solve. And so we group children in groups of 3 to 4 that have kind of the same problem or investigation that they want to do. And then we lead them through the inquiry cycle and the action cycle. And within that, they have to plan and execute an action to either teach about the problem or try to solve the problem, educate the problem. So it's really exciting to see a 5th grader go through that practice. Since COVID, we haven't been able to do it like we usually do, but we are hoping this year we can get back straight to the way we used to do it prior to COVID. I think I'm done.
Hi, good evening. I'm Stephanie Cerisi. I'm the coordinator at Hammond Eastside Upper, and we are grades 6 through 8. I'll just kind of recap some of the things or piggyback on what Ms. Kathy Johnson said. All of our students that attend Hammond Eastside, they are IB students. We do have 8 subjects that we offer on our campus, and they're listed up on the slideshow. We have math, science, social studies, language arts, PE, art, and along with the arts, we have music, which is very, very important to us. The design class, which is computer, and a foreign language. And of course, the foreign language that we offer is Spanish. Again, we follow the Louisiana State Curriculum Standards. We use the Tier 1 curriculum. And then we also, IB encourages action and service, and we do that mainly, really our 8th graders. They are participating in their 8th grade community projects. Those projects are student-centered and age-appropriate. They're grouped according to their interests, and they are assigned a faculty member to be their mentor. So that mentor checks in with that group, so they guide them through the inquiry cycle, they put the action in place, and then they reflect on the effectiveness of their plan. Some of the projects we've done in the past, if you are ever on the campus of Hammond Eastside Lower, Miss Bailey took our 8th grade art students through the bench project. I don't know if you've noticed those. It took probably a few months for those students to create. They went through the design cycle and drafted a plan and created them all out of recycled materials. So we are looking forward to some of those great projects this year. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Haas.
Deirdre Haas, Hammond High, IB coordinator. At Hammond High, we're very fortunate to have 2 IB programs for our juniors and seniors. What we do in the 9th and 10th grade is a preparatory program in an attempt to provide some advanced academics. Again, everything we do is aligned with Louisiana State graduation curriculum for high school and TOPS requirements, but we also meet those goals and standards for the IB education that is required for our juniors and seniors. So for the juniors and seniors, that program is for 16 through 19-year-olds. The diploma program, we call that the DP. We have 2 different pathways students can do within that program. They can pursue a full IB diploma, which is an international diploma in addition to the Louisiana High School diploma. These students would take 6 DP classes along with a class called Theory of Knowledge. With that particular class, it culminates all pieces of what is an IB education. Also, students can have some choice and some agency with that. Students are allowed to do something called course candidates. So I may have a student who says, hey, I want to do that math and physics part with, but I don't want to do those humanities classes. So they can, in that junior and senior year, have some choice in what they do. We also have a program at Hammond High called the Career-Related Program. This one is growing exponentially. It has allowed for students to continue with those advanced academic pieces, as well as choosing something like our ProStart program, which is our culinary piece, or our medical magnet pathways like pharmacy tech and medical assistant. It allows those students to take that career pathway and pursue those international baccalaureate classes on that level. They can possibly get college credit depending on their scores in those diploma program classes. And at this point, we'd like to open it for any questions for anybody about any of the programs.
Okay, I'll try to make something up.
You're designated.
Okay, I have a question. Excuse me, I have a question. So, I mean, this looks great from K through 12, right? I mean, it seems that the kids are being prepared to, navigate these courses when they, right into their senior year, to getting into graduating into the, with an IB diploma. All right, and I think that's wonderful that we offer this and that it's available. My question is, how are the students who are coming in from the other feeder schools navigating, and what are we doing to help prepare them when they come in to have the confidence even to sign up for the IB courses? I know that we have some children out there who are just outstanding, and they're going to be able to succeed no matter what. And coming in from the feeder schools, they're going to have the advantage of having that high propensity and the astuteness to be able to navigate. They may struggle, but they'll still succeed in it. But What about the other kids who might succeed if they were prerequisited into the same way that students in the, you know, at Hammond East Side are being prerequisite and prepared for, groomed into this IB curriculum. So what are we doing for those children who have a desire to go to Hammond High and be a part of the IB program?
So students can apply to be in the IB program through the 11th grade year. So students coming out of 8th grade, we put out the information normally about April, and they can come from all over the district. What I have in the 9th and 10th grade and what the teachers have developed is a curriculum that starts off giving them little pieces of what they would do in that 11th and 12th grade. So I might be in an Honors English 1 at Hammond High, and then I'm going to learn about what we call annotation. And then in that English 2 class, the pre-diploma program, that is our 9th and 10th grade pathway. But in that 10th grade class, then we're giving them more pieces of what's going on that they might need for the International Baccalaureate literature. So in that 9th and 10th grade, we do a lot to support those students. We do have collaboration where we offer, I've had people from Southeastern Lab School, from Champ Cooper come to some of our collaborations when we're looking at vertical and horizontal alignment. We do invite other teachers that would teach that 7th and 8th grade that may want to know more about what they can do to prepare their students.
So Ms. House, thank you for that response. And I know you also meet with the, you know, Greenville Park and some of the other schools. Y'all have had a lot of those meetings to try and make sure that students who are interested in the IB program are made aware of what they can be doing to prepare. But I guess, could you also address, I think there is a misconception within the community that IB, well, we know from pre-K to 8, that's every student at those campuses. But there's also, I think, a misconception that you have to be super advanced to even think about taking advantage of IB at the high school level. And I really think it's important that we dispel that. We need to stop telling children that they are not capable of taking these advanced courses. We are discounting these kids, and we are stealing opportunities and closing doors to them when we tell them that, because I know you have stories. I've been to IB conferences where we've heard these stories about children who had been told that lie, but then somebody great latched on to them, brought them in, and got them in that program, and they have really excelled from it. But I guess, can you speak to that? Can you tell us about any stories of kids who have been told that lie, but that have really taken advantage of the opportunity there and excelled?
So I can tell you, this is from another coordinator, but the best IB student is a B student with an A+ attitude. A student's effort will tell you a lot about what they're going to be able to do. I can think of our very first student who graduated in the career-related program. Mr. Shillette met with me and was thinking about getting out of IB completely. It's just too hard. I don't have time. I've got all these different things. And we sat down and really talked about what his goals were. And he was our very first CP, graduated thinking he was not going to get that accolade, that credential. And through his hard work, he did. And I say that because the teachers take the time to support the students in their different assessments and the different pieces. We talked about the approaches to learning. The approaches to learning is really what the students are doing within the classroom. And that's best practices. That's really what it is. We want to just give it things that we know. So the idea is I've had several students over the years who are, and when I say successful, they're contributing members of society. That's what success means to me. I know that I am an advanced academic program, but not all of them have gone on to do the college graduation. I have electricians, and I have students that are Marines and in different walks of life. But their whole purpose was learning how to achieve their goals. And that is what we do within that program. And that is how we support the students. Every student, we wind up, And this goes all the way down to pre-K. The teachers, we all do this as educators, but within the IB program, there is guidance for how we support those students.
So you're saying it's not for the more excelled student, it's all students?
It can be all students, but I will tell you that students and parents are really important in that piece. So you're going to have moments, because it is a rigorous curriculum, especially on that junior and senior level. So the preparation is important, but an honor student from another high school should very well and have come to Hammond High and joined in the 11th grade and done very well within our program. It is students wanting to do it, and if you have a student who's struggling, it's parents understanding, what is my child having to achieve? What do I need to help them with? Self-management is a big piece of that. Time management. Students are going to procrastinate. It's what they do. But our job and the parents' job, part of that is helping our kids realize that this is the process. And IB is not about perfection or getting the perfect grade. It's truly the International Baccalaureate, their whole mission is to develop that student, to develop the learner. The learner is at the center of what we do.
Do you still have the breakfast?
Yes, ma'am. We're going to actually have 2 this year because our program has grown so much that I have 48 seniors, and I can't do 48 seniors in a short enough time, so we will have 1 in January and 1 in February.
Okay, 'cause I don't think
we will
we've been to
invite the
one
entire
lately.
board to whichever one y'all can make.
Leave my email alone in January so I can get it.
Well, look, and if you really want to see the payoff of this program, it's going to that breakfast and meeting these students and seeing the depth of learning, the depth of overall, student development that really shines through from what they put on display, well, at that breakfast or any sort of interaction. But that's the payoff. I mean, the college credits that come out of it are really great. The Ivy League applications, getting students that can go to some of these really high level. That's all wonderful, but meeting these students is the real
I do want to brag. We do have a Quest Bridge scholar. She got a full ride. Her name's Ilse Salas, so we're very excited. We just got that information last night.
Yes.
Yeah, like Brett, I just could not believe the way they could present at at the breakfasts that we've been to. Very articulate and just intelligent and mature, and I was just amazed, and that's why I like to go, but not just the breakfast.
And the purpose of the iBreakfast is to share with the community what our seniors are doing. So they are asked to pick amongst all of their different pieces of work something that they're going to talk about and present on. We give them 1 or 2 minutes, and the students basically present whatever their assessment was, whatever their project was, and they talk about what they did and how they developed those ideas.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say that I applaud and commend the success that you guys have had with the program. And I guess my inquiry is more about finding out what it is that we can do to include more children into this so that they can take advantage of the same advantages that are given by being able to navigate and successfully complete this program. I'm interested in the program growing by producing more successful students, and so my question would be, what can we do to help bring that, into fruition, so that
I do go speak to all of the schools at the south end of the district, from Hammond all the way down into Ponchatoula. I am totally willing to go and speak to our schools on the north end. These are just the things we've done over the years to ensure that students know about the program. A lot of times a student will meet me later and go, I didn't even know this was an option. So we are definitely working on trying to get the information out there.
Since it's such a detailed program, well, I'm sure they will, I'm thinking, will they be able to leave and go to our new independence?
I'm sorry, say that
Will they be
again?
able to leave and go to our new independent school when that kicks off, as far as?
What we are working on with that is we have turned in some information to LSU and to some of the programs that are aligned with what they're doing at the new independent school. So the idea is, yes, especially with the career-related program, those students should be able to take diploma program classes and go to the career center if they don't offer that at our school. So yes, it would align.
It's great.
Very good. All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all, ladies.
Thank you.
And gentlemen. Moving on to consider committee reports, Capital Outlay Committee of the Whole from tonight. Do I hear a motion? Motion by Mr. Tom.
Second.
Second by Mr. Duncan. Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to other board actions, consider approval to move Kentwood High Magnet School graduation to May 23, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Southeastern University Center. Mr. Jinko?
Good evening, Ms. Westmoreland, Ms. Staley, board. When we were getting ready for graduation, Southeastern sent us the dates and the times for all of our schools. As you know, Kentwood traditionally has had their graduation at the gym on campus of Kentwood High. Ms. Staley asked us to contact Kentwood High to see if they would be interested in moving to Southeastern. Ms. Baptiste polled not only the students but talked to community members, and it was overwhelmingly in favor of moving to the University Center. We contacted Southeastern, and this is the date and time that they have available for the Kentwood High graduation. So we asked that for your approval. Granted your approval, we will send out updated information to you and put it on our website tomorrow.
Do I hear a motion to adopt that?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Janice,
A second.
second by Ms. Robin. Any discussion?
This is a different day. I mean, I know it's a different location, but it's a different day as well.
Correct, yes, sir.
Does this mess up their invitations and all that kind of stuff?
No, sir. We were able to get it in time for them to,
Good.
and the invitation company was holding until we gave them this information.
Good, very good. Thank you.
No other questions? We'll call for the vote.
Voting is open.
It's always a full house in that gym.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Next, we'll consider approval of the procedures for camera installation in special education classrooms. Dr. Fussell.
Thank you, Mr. Westmoreland. If you all remember, recently we adopted it was a legislative act for cameras to be able to be placed in special education classrooms. So the next step is we have to develop the procedures for this to occur that we will share with families. So the forms that are linked here, these were created in most districts who work with Forethought, Hammond, and Seals adopted the same procedures. We just have them on our letterhead, but the procedures are laid out for you here with the documents that will be shared on our website for parents to know how to access and request this if they so choose.
Okay, do we have any discussion? Or we'll first get a motion to adopt.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Sandra Simmons. Here a second?
A second.
Second by Ms. Robin. Do we have any questions?
I know this law passed, sorry, microphone, passed about putting in legislation, putting in the cameras, but the stipulation was with the funds were available. So how are we going to supply the funds?
They provided the funds.
They did provide
Yes,
all,
ma'am.
they got it through the
provided.
budget.
The
And-
funds are dropped in our EGMS account, and so we draw down as, you don't mass install, you install upon request, and there's a lot of rules, as you could see for the procedures, that it has to be approved. It's only certain special education classrooms, and then you have to notify people who go into the room, and there's a training, but they did provide the funds.
And there's no, reading over the forms and the stuff that you presented to us, there's no recourse if a parent in there absolutely doesn't want it, if another parent
No,
wants
ma'am.
it.
No, ma'am.
So is that a law?
Yes, ma'am. This is
Okay.
strictly by it cannot be denied As a matter of fact, the only way that it would be denied by the district personnel who reviews it is if the classroom they're requesting it in does not meet the requirements per the law. Then there's also rules that it's not what it can't be used for. It can't be used for observing a teacher, for monitoring, it's about safety of children. And so then there's also a form if a parent wants a part of the video reviewed because they think something may have occurred. But you are correct, there's a lot of regulations around. But
Yeah, it's a
another
lot of
parent cannot-
regulations, yeah.
You're letting them know it's there, but they cannot deny it being installed.
Okay.
A question. So, is it also there so if anything goes wrong and a teacher gets hurt as a result?
I mean, we would have the video and you keep it for a month, but it's the intention of the law is for, especially these classrooms with nonverbal students, that if a parent wants us to view it for abuse or something that's occurring, that's the intent of it. But surely if a teacher were hurt, we would have the
I
camera
mean, we could
footage.
use it for that if a teacher gets hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we see the day coming where there'll be cameras in all the classrooms?
Yep.
I'm going to say, like, if you really read the spirit of this law, this was very carefully crafted around the safety of children. And there's people who would want to use it, and they made sure the intent couldn't be for example, the implementation of a curriculum or what have you. So I don't know that I see it just for mass use, but as far as safety, and there's teachers who would want it in there so that they could say this is what's occurring in the classroom, etc. But there were a lot of rules put in place to protect all the individuals. There's the training you have to go to when there's a camera in your room about, you're a mandated reporter. Those are trainings we do anyway, and they're part of our system. But I think everybody thought these were going to be mass installed. We have 40 classrooms that would even qualify for this. You don't mass install because, number one, of all the rules that go with it, but number two, what if a principal moves the classroom facility-wise? You don't spend $200,000 putting cameras in and then say, oh, we can't change anything because there's a camera. That's why there's a process. And there's also a process if a child withdraws. So if Ms. Dominguez requested it and then her child withdraws, then that withdraws the camera in the classroom. It doesn't stay unless another parent requests it. So it's very specific.
Any other questions? Call for a vote.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, we're moving on to board member comments, and we might as well begin with the member who will no longer be with us next year.
Mr. Chairman, can we let him have the last word tonight as a Christmas present?
I'm gonna get that anyway.
He always gets the last word. What are you talking about?
One thing I've really noticed the last couple of years, if I had two mics, is that because what I had to say is double important more than anybody else?
Absolutely.
Or I talk out of both sides of my mouth, I'm double talking.
That's
I
more
wasn't
like
sure
it.
that was more.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Jerry, you're the blessed man. Mr. McNeely's not. Congratulations, sir. But you won't ever get to see me in action, man, when you work here. At least you got me one meeting, brother. That's all the jokes I'm gonna give tonight. I'm gonna read a quick statement. I have won and I have lost. I got it right sometimes, but sometimes I did not. Life's been a journey. I've seen joy, I've seen regret. But most of all, you've been my God through all of it. And I'm gonna like to change that last sentence. But most of all, you've been my friends through all of that. God bless you and good luck in the future.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Sandra Bailey Simmons.
Well, thank you for being patient with Sandra's Dog and Pony Show tonight, as they refer to my kids coming. But it gives me the greatest joy to be able to, for all the years that I've been on the board, to see our kids perform, because that's why we're here. That's what it's all about. And they're proud to perform, and the parents are proud that they're here. So I'm just so impressed with both of those schools and the performance that they put on tonight. It was a real blessing to me.
Thank you. Mr. Duncan, you good? Ms. Robin?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to board member comments, and we might as well begin with the member who will no longer be with us next year. He always gets the last word tonight.
Well, need to say congratulations to our Kentwood Kangaroos and our Amy Warriors, although they didn't make it all the way to the dome. They did, so they're going to get use out of that weight equipment for next year because they're going to do it next year. That's what we need. Yes, that's why you need it.
Yeah.
So just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Randy, it's been a privilege to serve with you. We're going to miss your shenanigans.
Thank you.
So, we wish you the best endeavors. And Miss Sandra, we wish you the best of luck this coming weekend. And hope everyone has a great, great holiday.
Thank you. Ms. Janice? No,
Oh, Mr. President, I want to say to Randy, I definitely will miss you, but I'm sure we'll be hearing from you. To say happy holidays to everyone and to remind us, because of some of the things that we've been able to do with our tax, we want to say again, please, please shop at home. Let Santa go to our stores. Also, I want to say thank you to the board and to Ms. Steely and Mr. Muse for taking the opportunity to go and see Kentwood and to present it, and for the board to stand behind us and say, okay, it's something that is needed. And for that, I just want to say thank you for giving us the necessary equipment. And that's it.
Mr. Tom?
Yeah, I too want to welcome Mr. Jeff McNeely to the staff here. I look forward to working with them again. I feel like Ms. Stilley has kind of hit the jackpot with the last two hires. Both of them come with a lot of experience, and I think it's going to be to our benefit. So welcome aboard, Jeff, and once again. On that note, one of the first things I know that Mr. McNeely will be working on, I just wanted to give a quick update on our bus fuel reimbursement. I've spoken about this several times with Ms. Stilley and with Ms. Notriana, and I'm sure some of you probably are familiar with this, but our contract drivers, just a quick side of that is that we have been reimbursing them with local funds for their fuel expenses, and that fluctuates, obviously, as the fuel fluctuates. This last legislation, the session, they voted a raise in there to actually offset some of that for the bus drivers. So what we did as a school system, in a nutshell, is we backed off our local funding because the state put more funding up to it. Well, the bus drivers feel like they kind of got left out because it's not fluctuating. The price is not following the price of the fuel, their reimbursement. So they're kind of losing out, and they feel like that raise should have gone toward them. So I know the school system's looking at it, Ms. Notriana's looking at it. And before we brought a new policy to the board to kind of fix this, we wanted to give a chance for our new CFO to actually dig in there and figure out exactly how this is going to affect our budget moving forward. So I told the bus drivers they were expecting it to be on the agenda tonight, and I told them just to hang tight, give us till January to work out the details and let it go through Jeff's office, and then it'll come to the board hopefully in January for a solution. So bus drivers, there it is. Your solution is coming. Mr. Bush, we have sparred quite often, but I've always respected your passion and your years of service to our school system as a teacher, as a coach, and now as a school board member. So with that, sir, I do respect you. I wish you well in your future endeavors, and obviously our phones numbers will not change. We will not block you. You call us if you have a question, or I'll unblock you. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I unblocked you already. By the way, I've won more arguments than you won. I thought I did.
And because it's Christmas time, I'm going to let you win that one. So also want to recognize Sumner Middle School. Ms. Dilley, you'll have to tell me exactly what they showed one of the 3 schools in our school
Yes.
system that showed vast improvement.
One of the comeback schools
Comeback
that's
school.
identified by the state. So we had Greenville Park and Sumner and Midway,
Right.
which means their recent scores in 2022 actually was higher than their 19, which is pre-COVID.
Right.
So the state really wanted to emphasize the schools across the state. I think there were about 40 across the state, statewide, and we had 3 in Tangipahoa Parish, so hats off to them.
Hats off to those 3 schools, especially some in the middle of my area. And then last but not least, I hope everybody will have a Merry Christmas. To our employees, I hope they will have a well-deserved break. and a happy new year, and here's to a great year next year. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Tom. Mr. Rose?
Okay, I'm going to start off with Mr. Bush as well. Worked with Mr. Bush, Randy, for many years, way back before high school, way back. And so wish you well. It's been a different activity working with you on this level than the other levels, and I appreciate your passion. As Tom said, we wish you well in everything you do forward.
Thank you.
I just had some announcements about State School Board and our training opportunities. But first off, there is what the State School Board is doing on February the 9th is we're having a big, huge recognition for our legislators. It's called Leads for Lunch. You should have got emails about it. You should have got a reminder yesterday to do the survey. And that survey is to recommend top qualities from your representative, because they will be recognized at this luncheon. It's going to be a huge event, and we will need to register with Ms. Jenkins to go to this. It's a one-day thing. There will be some training prior to the luncheon, but the luncheon is for all legislators, all school boards, you know, the officers, the presidents, everybody. And it's just a one-day thing, and it's going to be a major thing we're doing this year for all our legislators. So go fill the survey out, but the deadline is tomorrow. And they've been sending it, and she sent a reminder yesterday. It will take you about 10 minutes to do the survey. And it's recommendations for your representative, whether it be, you know, Mr. Weed or Mr. Mack or Nikki Muscarella or any of our senators, anybody. So if y'all want to fill that out. Our other thing that's coming up is our State School Board Conference. And that's the end of, or the beginning of March. And then the brand new national conference that we've been talking about, because, you know, we pulled out of the National School Board, but we've started our own, the Consortium of School Board Association. That conference will be the end of March. And so Ms. Jenkins got the information, and she'll be asking you if you want to go. And so I was hoping that, you know, all of us would try to go and do the learning and get all our credits for this coming up next year.
Where's it going to be?
Tampa. LSBA is going to be in Lake Charles, and then the end of March, beginning of April is going to be in Tampa.
Do you have those dates in Lake Charles?
I do have the dates. The Leads luncheon is going to be Thursday, February the 9th. And then the LSBA conference is from 3/5 to 3/9. And the COSBA National Conference is 3/29 to 4/3. So y'all need to get with Ms. Jenkins and let her know what we're going to do.
So since Randy didn't get to do 2 national conferences, are we going to let him do like past board members? I mean, give him one at least?
No, you're not.
She said you couldn't have it. But this thing that I'm talking about for February, this is our inaugural Leads for Lunch. It's kind of like every year the governor has this big, huge governor's prayer breakfast, and just hundreds of people come. This is going to be hundreds of people, so you need to let Ms. Jenkins know if you want to go, because we're going to have to reserve a table for us, and you know, it's going to be a big deal, and we want to recognize our legislators as well and support them. So, and also wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Looking forward to the next New Year. And Jeff, welcome to the team. Good to have you. And of course, I think our other two, Mr. Valaruta is doing a great job so far. We'll appreciate you coming on board.
Mr. Jerry?
Okay, I'm going to start out with Merry Christmas to everybody. A belated Happy Thanksgiving, because I don't think I got to say that. And as always, I'm going to always express my appreciation for our teachers, you know, for all of the employees, from the janitors to Ms. Stilley. I have a great appreciation for them, because education of our children is extremely important to me. It's a top priority. That's why I'm here. Jeff, welcome aboard. Randy, goodbye. I love you, man. Hey, man, I tell you what, I honor our relationship. You know, and I am going to miss you too. Yeah. Miss Sandra, as always, you've outdone us all. Yeah, your production at the end of the year just topped it off. And I wish you the absolute best in this upcoming election.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jerry. Tonight is the last night of me presiding as president for this year, so I'd like to thank everyone for being behind me. I'd like to thank the superintendent and all of the assistant superintendents. It's been a pleasure working in this position, and maybe in some time future we'll do it again. But again, thank y'all very much for y'all's vote of confidence.
You do still have to preside over the first meeting in
Well,
January.
but I think once we vote on it, then I move my seat or
Okay.
something, so we know where that's gonna go. But, Mr. Randy, congratulations to you on your next move, and, I think you're gonna do fine in that. I wish you the best.
And thank you, Glenn, because I know how hard it must be the president, because you make all these meetings, and I appreciate you sacrificing this year for our children.
Appreciate that. And Miss Sandra, we are praying Saturday, come out in God's will, and I know it will. So, good luck to you in that venture. And I kind of give the sentiments that Miss Janice got. It is Christmas time, so we ask all of our people to continue to buy goods in our parish, and we can continue to pass the money on to our employees. Hopefully they all each have a Merry Christmas to everyone. Congratulations to our new hire, Mr. Jeff. Good luck to you, sir. And look forward to working with you in years to come. With that, Ms. Superintendent, do you have any words you'd like to say?
Yes, I would like to say that, Rose, I think I've known Randy Bush since Sunday school at Jerusalem Baptist Church.
I've actually known Melissa longer than you, Rose.
Yep, Jerusalem Baptist Church and Pumpkin Center, kids, but long time. And Randy, I've enjoyed you being on the board and working with us. I mean, we've agreed and disagreed, and everybody's said what they thought, but we've all, walked away friends and been respectful.
The cyber attack, COVID, hurricanes really damaged you and your
Well, thanks, Randy.
let me get this. Damaged you and your ability to academically lead our system. But you've done extraordinarily well during the most unbelievable circumstances that you've had. And I was proud to serve on the board.
So you're damaged.
I'm damaged, but
you're damaged.
But I wish you the best in your race for Senate, and I know that you've always, when you put your mind to something, you always accomplish it. So we wish you the
What
best.
happens, I'm still gonna be the same person.
Yeah. So I've never blocked you, by the way.
Well, here's the great news. Now that I'm
Yeah.
a board member January 1st, you can make a campaign contribution.
And I would like to thank Mr. President Westmoreland for serving this year, and Janice as our vice president. Both of them have done extremely well in their leadership, and always when we call them to update them on something or ask them about something, they're very prompt about getting back with us. We appreciate that. And I also welcome Mr. McNeely on board. Today was his first day. And Mr. McNeely, I think you were on the job about 15 minutes, and you had your first big meeting this morning with, it was the IDA, with a big meeting with that, talking about what we've done and what we have left to do. And he didn't leave afterwards, he stayed. So that's all a good sign. But we welcome you aboard. And as Tom said, I think that we're building a very strong team, and we're very happy to have both of you on board, and also our director of operations. So anyway, that's great. That's all I wanted to say, and we're going to miss you, Randy, and stay in touch with us.
I will, and I'd like to say, Mr. President, that Janice, if I would be here, you would definitely be my choice for school board president for the next year.
Oh, thank you.
No pressure on anybody.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
I wanted to say something. Now, Janice, every time I watch the Eagles, I think that you're the key to get Devontae here. So one day we're going to look forward to you bringing him here so we can recognize it.
We're going to get him here.
I know. I love to watch it.
Sounds good. All right, we'll move on to litigation.
President, move to enter executive session to consider the cases of Marco Buckley versus Tangipahoa Parish School Board and Alice Bates versus Tangipahoa Parish School Board.
All right.
And we do have public input afterwards.
Yep.
Who
I don't think
seconded?
these two cases are going to take too long.
Tom seconded?
Tom did.
Tom did.
Without objection.
Jeremy, be quick.
Channel 17, proudly serving the Florida parishes.
I don't.
All right, we'll call the meeting back to order at this time. Do we have a motion on items B and C?
On the matter of Marco Buckley versus Tangipahoa Parish School Board, move to adopt council's recommendation.
Second.
Motion's made and second. Call for a vote.
I don't know if I'm still logged.
Yes, Miss Cindy?
Voting is open. Oh, I got my jump ahead on, sorry.
Am I still logged in?
Let me hold it over here. Did you get my?
Yes.
Yes, I'm waiting on you to look at me, and I couldn't have made it the last 4 years without you, my friend.
Motion is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Item C.
On the matter of Alice Bates versus Tangipahoa Parish School Board, move to adopt council's recommendation.
Second.
Motion's made and second. Call for a vote.
Just 1 second.
Are we still live?
Yes.
Yes.
Voting's open.
Do I have to buy you a Christmas present when you go out? Do I have to still contribute to that? Just curious.
Ms. Abrams?
Yes.
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 Motion is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to public input. Tonight we have one person, Jeremy Adamson. We would ask him to come on down. Thank you for your patience all night.
Good evening. My name is Jeremy Adamson, a father of 4, 2 of whom currently are in the Tangipahoa Parish school system and attend Roseland Montessori. A couple weeks ago, my 7th grader, Colin, came to me disturbed by a couple of passages in a mandatory reading assignment. It disturbed him enough to bring it to my attention, and he asked to do so privately. I'm here purely for the purpose of putting this material and my adamant opposition as a parent to this material being in our children's classrooms on the official record. It is disturbing, wildly inappropriate to say the least, and extremely concerning. In chapter 4 of the book, the text gives a description of teens bathing elderly people while discussing death being referred to as release in the book. It is unnecessarily very descriptive of the bathing scenes. One phrase reads, quote, "He raised her left arm, laid it back into the water, and began to wash her feet. She murmured with pleasure as he massaged her feet with the sponge." End quote. A couple of paragraphs later, it reads, quote, "Jonas put his arm around her and supported her as she sat. He squeezed the sponge against her back and began to rub her sharp-boned shoulders." End quote. Chapter 5 goes on and depicts the family together discussing dreams with their children. Jonas describes his dream as being in the bathing room at the house of the old. In the dream, there was only one tub instead of many that were in the actual bathing room. Jonas describes the dream this way, quote, "The room in the dream was warm and damp, and I had taken off my tunic but hadn't put on the smock, so my chest was bare. I was perspiring because it was warm, and Fiona was there," end quote. Fiona is the same elderly woman he had bathed in chapter 4. The next is a passage of the book. "It was only me and Fiona alone in the room, standing beside the tub. She was laughing, but I wasn't. I was almost a little angry at her in the dream because she wasn't taking me seriously." His mom asked, "Seriously about what?" For some reason, Jonas didn't understand. He felt slightly embarrassed. "I think I was trying to convince her that she should get into the tub of water." He forced himself to relay the part of the dream that made him uneasy. "I wanted her to take off her clothes and get into the tub. I wanted to bathe her. I had the sponge in my hand, but she wouldn't. She kept laughing and saying no." His father asked, "Can you describe the strongest feeling in your dream?" The details were murky and vague, but the feelings were clear and flooded him again, now as he thought. The wanting, he said. I knew that she wouldn't, and I think I knew that she shouldn't, but I wanted it so terribly. I could feel the wanting all through me. The name of the book is The Giver. I'm appalled at this reading, and I hope everyone sitting in front of me is as well. I hope and pray we will take whatever measures are necessary to remove this borderline erotic and egregiously inappropriate material from our classrooms. I hope we will be diligent to seek out these types of materials and remove them. I hope we will empower and encourage our teachers and our students to bring these types of unacceptable materials to light. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jeremy.
Ms. Stilley, can we respond?
No.
Not to public input.
What are we gonna do about it?
All right, no other public input. At this time, we'll adjourn the meeting.